Hello, welcome to my channel, I'm glad to see you. And welcome back to Gaming Recommendations, the series that will help you, a player with great taste in gaming, to find the next game you will love. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. And with that out of the way, let's get started. The rules are simple. We pick a relatively popular game, do a quick analysis of it to understand the 3 most important qualities it has. And then we try to find a game that could fit on these 3 categories, meaning that people that like game A will most likely enjoy game B. And in this video, we'll talk about one of my favorite games of all time, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. It's the 4th game in the Elder Scrolls series and my personal favorite. Released in 2006 for the PC and 360, and a year later for the PS3, as the successor to Morrowind, one of the most beloved games of all time, Oblivion had big shoes to fill. And with the many changes the game had in order to make it more accessible to the general audience.
Brother, what's that?
It's safe to say that Bethesda was successful in finally bringing the franchise to the mainstream. Since I didn't have an original Xbox growing up, or a capable PC, I wasn't able to enjoy Morrowind growing up. But with the release of Oblivion on the 360, it was my entry point into the series that is near and dear to me today. And apparently it was the same for many, considering that Oblivion has sold 90.5 million copies. More than doubling Morrowind's already impressive 4 million copies sold. But enough about that, let's analyze Oblivion and find out the 3 things that make it special in my opinion, starting with...
You sleep rather soundly for a murderer.
Yeah!
That's good.
Oblivion story mode is very memorable, with many set pieces that stuck with me to this day, like for example the first time we step into Kvatch. But to me, the most memorable pieces of story present in Oblivion are found in the side quests. And no matter if your favorite in the series is Morrowind or Skyrim, something that no one can deny is that Oblivion factions are usually considered the most memorable ones in the series. And although the Fighters Guild and Mages Guilds leave a bit to be desired, the Thieves Guild and especially the Dark Brotherhood more than makes up for it.
Sanctuary, and your new life will begin.
The twists and turns the quests take before reaching the climax are very refreshing. And they go above and beyond the fetch quests pitfalls these kinds of games usually fall into. And even simple quests like the ones in the Dark Brotherhood where you usually only need to kill a target, they offer special bonuses if the player completes the quest with a certain special requirement.
While carrying out a contract, you may have the opportunity to earn a bonus if certain parameters are met. Now, let's begin, shall we?
Keeping these quests always fresh and adjusting the difficulty to whether or not the player wants these special rewards or not. And considering how strong some of the trinkets you get are, I'd say it's always worth it. And it's not only the faction quests that slaps. Oblivion has hundreds of side quests to be discovered throughout your playthrough.
Thief! You stole that diary from me! Now I have to wait to get into the guild!
So even if you plan on completely ignoring the story mode, there's plenty of content here to enjoy. But enough about that, let's go to our next point, which is...
Have you heard of the High Elves?
One very important aspect to these open world RPGs, to me, is how much role-playing you can actually do. And here in Oblivion, you're free to explore the world the way you see fit. And most importantly, interact with the world however you want. You can be an Imperial Swordsman, an Argonian Rogue Assassin, an Wood Elf Stealth Archer, and my favorite, a Breton overpowered mage. The amount of customization in Oblivion is insane, and is only bested in that aspect by older games of the same series, like Morrowind for example. You can enchant your gear with powerful effects, mix different spells to completely overpower the opponent, mix powerful poisons to completely incapacitate them with your arrows, create insane potions with your alchemy set to make your character godlike. Or you can ignore all that and simply crush your enemies with a buff orc and a good old warhammer.
¿Quieres?
You may choose to live in any of the cities in the game, from the haunted manor in the calm seaside of Anvil, to the cozy breeze home in the snowy city of Bruma. Differently from Skyrim, which is mostly snowy landscape, or Morrowind with its vast mountains and swamps, Oblivion being Cyrodiil, basically in the center of Tamriel, you get many kinds of biomes, and the cities reflect that. They are very diverse and interesting to explore, so go out there and explore. Cyrodiil is your personal sandbox, have fun. So, let's go to our third topic, which is... This one is a bit hard to explain, you have to play it to understand, and I'm sure that Oblivion players know what I'm talking about. The vibes in Oblivion are immaculate, even when it's janky as hell, like for example the speech minigame it has. It is janky in its own unique way, and it's not afraid to show you how special it is. I first started playing this game on the 360, but after it obviously died with the infamous Ring of Death, I switched it to the PS3. And to be able to play it on my old 29-inch CRT on the PS3, I had to do a disc swap trick with a copy of Resistance. And I'll never forget the first time I played Oblivion on a high definition screen. I was genuinely stunned at how pretty it was at the time. I actually stopped in the middle of a forest, looked at the sky and just admired the beautiful night sky box of the game, accompanied by the beautiful soundtrack by Jeremy Soule, which was a spiritual experience. And the game is full of little moments like that, from the moment you first leave the sewers, to the first time you step into Kvatch, and watch as the sky change colors as you near the city gates and see what awaits you. It's one of those games that despite showing its age, it still looks stunning due to a very strong art direction. But enough gushing about Oblivion, you get my point, I love it. And here's my recommendation for Oblivion lovers. Kingdom Come Deliverance. And I hear you say, but Tatsu, you sexy devil, Kingdom Come Deliverance is not even a fantasy RPG. What kind of drug-laced character have you been munching on? And first of all, how dare you, my characters are all completely natural, no additives. And I get that, but hear me out. Despite being mostly a history-accurate game, it has more in common with Oblivion than you think. Beginning with...
Shift over. Don't want to tread on anything vital. All right, give me a moment and I'll roll it up again. That feels good.
Just like Oblivion, Kingdom Come Deliverance, I'm just gonna call it KCD from now on, okay? Okay, has a very good story mode, with many very memorable moments. But to me, the side quest is what elevates this game from a good open world RPG to a great one. They are some of the most entertaining interactions Henry can have with some of the NPCs in the game, like going to a nice date with the woman that saved your life. To a night of entertainment with your best bro Lord Hans Capon. To a very challenging fighting tournament with great rewards and a surprise next time you visit your darling Teresa. There's many different side quests, and more open up as you progress through the story mode, and they really expand the lore of the game as a whole, and help you understand better the time in which the game takes place. For example, there's a side quest for you to learn how to read. Remember, Henry is a peasant. Back in the day, it wasn't common for peasants to know how to read, so that's how you perceive books as someone illiterate. How awesome is that? And don't get me started on Farco. I freaking love Farco. Every single city I visit, I go straight to the tavern to completely bankrupt the local Farco player. No one can stop me, I'm a menace. Not since Witcher 3 Gwent was I so obsessed with a minigame inside a game. But enough about that, on to the next point. Just like Oblivion, KCG is very versatile with how you want to approach many scenarios. Very early in the game, you get a side quest where you need to steal a ring from the city executioner's chest.
Jesus Christ. You want me to dig up a corpse, take a ring from it and give it to your friend in Kohelnitz? There's nothing sacred to you.
And how you want to approach it is your decision. Want to sneak at night and steal it? Go for it. Want to lie to him in order to get him out of the house so you can steal the ring in peace? Go for it. Want to kill the guy and steal it in cold blood? Go for it. But don't though, you need him alive to have access to a great side quest later. You can be a swordsman, an overpowered archer that can one-hit most enemies, or you can be smart and bonk everyone on the head with a mace. But the most important thing is, no matter what you wanna be, you're gonna suck at the beginning. Remember, Henry is a peasant, not a fighter, so to become one, you need to train with Bernard, preferably until you learn how to master strike.
Remember though, train hard. No one becomes a master swordsman overnight.
Or you can forgo violence entirely and become the best alchemist the world has ever seen. You see, in order to save the game at any time you want, you need to use Savior Snaps, which is a drink you need to concoct yourself. And the way to do that is with alchemy, one of the most enjoyable mechanics in the game in my opinion. And it is in some ways the magic of the game in a way, since some of the potions and poisons you can craft with it are game changing. And although some missions in the game are time sensitive, most of them aren't, so you're pretty much free to explore and play the game the way you want to. And that goes for how you interact with the NPCs as well. The way they treat you is reflected by how you dress.
I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
Look like a knight? People will treat you with the respect one deserves, and will be more inclined to help you on your quests. Want to sneak around and rob everyone blind? Go ahead, just remember to wear mostly black and avoid armors in order to not be clanking around. Point is, you're able to play the game the way you want, and that kind of freedom is always welcome. But anyway, on to our last point. Just like before, this is the hard one to explain, it must be felt to be understood. At some point in the game, after you complete a certain side quest in Talmberg, you're able to become a hunter for Sir Divish. And I gotta say, one of my most memorable gaming experiences was learning how to properly hunt in this game. Waking up early, hunting all day, selling the meat to the local innkeeper to make bank, and spend all my money betting on Farco with the local gambler. I did that for hours, it was so fun, and I felt like I discovered my purpose in the game. Walking through the forest was so calming, even when I had to fend some bandits every now and then. Riding your horse through Bohemia, be it into the very realistic towns or through the calming forests, hearing the sound of a river nearby, admiring the lighting when it's dark out, and all you have with you is a torch to light the way. It's very hard to explain, so I'd rather show you. And that's about sums it up. Both games are very special to me, and I will definitely make videos about them in the future. And with the release of KCD2 in early 2025, I couldn't be more hyped. And I hope I can convince at least one person to give the game a chance. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, do me a favor and give this video a like. And consider subscribing because I intend to making many more like this one in the future. That's it for now. Bye bye.